underway. Semifinal number 2 in the women's bracket. One spot remains on Championship Sunday. San Joaquin Delta and Santiago Canyon will vie for the final spot. Jeff Stoynoff, Nick Garcia back with you at Ventura College. And we bring on Santiago Canyon, the number 1 seed from the south, coming in with a perfect 22-0 mark. How about 22-0, not simply undefeated, no ties on the season. It has been a dominating season for Santiago Canyon so far. And they look to try and close the deal here this weekend. They have been close the last couple of years. And now an opportunity developing for them, especially with their chief rival in the South, Cerritos College, not able to make the Final Four this year. And things opening up a little bit in the draw, but they'll have to get past 2 good teams, and it starts here with San Joaquin Delta, a team that comes in the number 5 seed from the north, but a very, very formidable foe, at least according to Santiago coaches as we talked to them before the game. So they're not taking it lightly. I mean, the numbers for Santiago Canyon are just spectacular on the season.
Yeah, the numbers speak for themselves. 84 goals for, and then .22 goals against, second best in the overall.
They'll have an immediate corner sent into the box, and the ball still loose, but kicked back outside. Phillips. This one redirected just over the crossbar.
Santiago's already started off on a pretty good foot, I'd say, getting forward and getting the corner really quickly. Be interesting to see how Delta deals with their attack.
Just to put some of the numbers in context, in the first 20 games this season of Santiago Canyon's 22 games, nobody came within 1 goal of beating them. They won every game by 2 goals or more. It was only in their last 2 contests that it was even within 1 goal, a pair of 1-0 wins, first over Rio Hondo and then Santa Barbara City College to advance here to the Final Four. Pass ahead looking for Gonzalez, who tries to track it down, but it's sent out of play. We'll have a throw in on the near side. They only trailed 1 time this year. That was 1-0 to Golden West back on October 2nd. And even in that game, they came up with 3 second-half goals to win going away, 3-1 in that game. It's the only time they've even been behind center and a score! Just that quickly. Watch it on the throw-in. Across to the far post. One more time. Well, as I'm unveiling the numbers here for Santiago Canyon, they seemingly back me up right away, and this is a quick strike offense. They scored just 6 minutes in the victory over Rio Hondo. They jumped on top of Golden West with a couple of early goals in their victory in round 1 of the playoffs. So they come out aggressive, and they strike gold here with an early goal in this one in the 5th minute. It was Luli Bethencourt with the goal off the pass from Ophelia Sosa. I should say that was a terrific pass by Sosa going back to the goal with the left foot right across the goal to the far post. And Bethencourt had a window and converted. For Bethencourt, just her 6th goal, at least according to the stats, but that's a big one to stake Santiago Canyon to the early 1-0 lead.
What a different start from the last game that we watched.
That's right. We didn't wait 70 minutes for that one, but yeah, Santiago Canyon, I think coming out here and I think safe to say not overwhelmed by the moment or not feeling like they need to get away from what they do. They came out very aggressive, as has been their tendency this year with the early goals that you see in a number of their games. Yeah. And I think they like to take the opportunity to try and get an opponent on their heels, and I think it's mission accomplished here.
This seems to be a normal thing for them coming into the Final Four, though, coaching staff-wise for them as well.
Or taking, I should say, sorry about that, Nick.
This is normal.
Yeah, and you are familiar. You know some of their coaching staff as well.
Yes.
And you had an opportunity to talk a little bit before the game. We referenced that before when we were talking about that they regard San Joaquin Delta as a very dangerous opponent, and even in this mix of 3, that maybe they're getting as tough a team as they can face right here in the semifinals in the Mustangs. But the early goal from Bethencourt has them on top 1-0.
It'll be interesting to see how things get changed now quickly for Delta, given that they got a goal scored on them so early on. Now their game plan pretty much went out the window, so now they've got to kind of bunker down and get ready to pretty much weather a storm, I feel, right now, how it's been going.
Well, so many weapons for the Santiago Canyon team, and that is the conundrum if you're San Joaquin Delta. Yes, you find yourself immediately at a deficit here, and you feel like you want to maybe change something, but talk about a team that can make you pay with some quick counters if you do make some mistakes moving forward. And always such a difficult thing, I imagine, about playing very talented teams. Canyon keeping the pressure on with the throw in. And that one's sent back out, but not all the way out. And instead, Santiago Canyon will be able to reset. Larson back to the near side, and they'll send it back to Jessica Neighbors in goal. Long pass ahead. And this one will be played back to Amanda Leal, the keeper for San Joaquin Delta. And we talked about Santiago Canyon and their path here to the championship. Delta here after advancing past Hartnell back, I want to say that was on Tuesday of this last week, and that came in penalty kicks. No score in regulation, and San Joaquin Delta ends up winning as the sun was going down 3-1 in penalty kicks when they finally finish it off. Centering pass and a one-timer. Bouncer out front, but it's played out by San Joaquin Delta. The big win came for San Joaquin Delta in round 2 of the playoffs when they knocked off second seed Folsom Lake. Before ending the Cinderella run of Hartnell in round 3. Part of that wide open draw in the north on the women's side that saw the 5 and 6 seed advance to Ventura. Bethencourt just a couple of minutes in for Santiago Canyon. Well, anything that you can pick up about watching Santiago Canyon that impresses you in particular from the coaching standpoint about how they go about things here after looking for about 10 or 11 minutes?
Just their transition right now is quick from defense to offense, and the way that they've possessed the ball and gotten numbers forward is very impressive. I mean, Delta's going to have issues with number 24 with Ophelia Sosa, with looking at her stats of 20 goals and 12 assists.
Yeah, make it 13 as she assisted the first goal.
13 now, so they're going to have issues. She's physical and strong and likes to shoot and take players on as well, so it'll be interesting to see how that gets handled. And then on the other side, you've got Delta that are very athletic, talking to other coaches that I've played against them before the game. Very athletic, very direct.
Mounting their first attack here, but it's sent out. A centering pass broken up. It's still loose. Still loose. And now a bouncer toward the goal. And Neighbors able to jump out and scoop that one up. That was trouble brewing in front of the goal. And Neighbors with a very alert play. Good opportunity for the Mustangs to potentially even this one up, but now the quick counter developing for Santiago Canyon. Bethencourt wants to center, looking for a lane, and instead loses it over the end line. Is this going to be a goal or a corner kick coming in? It will be. And you keep an eye on Sosa right in front of the goal, and you referenced how dangerous she can be. 20 goals and 13 assists, and you know, a player with that kind of strength in the front of the goal, particularly dangerous on set pieces.
Definitely very dangerous.
Out in front and cleared, not all the way out. A one-timer blocked at the point. Santiago Canyon will keep it. The drive into the box, but sent back out by Delta. Will have a throw in on the far side.
We'll see how Santiago deals with the counter-attacking style of Delta so far. Like I said, with their athleticism, getting in behind lines, how quickly they can go change from offense to defense and get things going. With, in other words, with Santiago Canyon throwing numbers up with their outside backs, attacking quite a bit and trying to get into the attack. So leaving those spaces vulnerable is very dangerous.
Ortega outside finds Bethencourt looking for Sosa. Sosa in the box and a whistle. And this will go back to the Mustangs.
Delta seems to be a bit in shock from that early goal and haven't really caught their footing yet. Like you said, seems like Ophelia Sosa has been making those two center backs work hard and making a little bit of movements that create the wide play to get involved as well. So I think if they can control that center mid and start to slow things down and get their footing, that it could start to help them out a little bit more.
It seems that the first few attacks have come on the outside. Is that an effort to maybe give Sosa a little more room to work off the ball in the middle?
It's more of their. I think it's more of their play style that they're used to that they want to find her, like you said, quickly, and best option is to go around them, since as it looks right now, Delta's kind of just staying in compact and leaving them into that wide area, which is how Santiago normally plays. After watching them over the years, they like to get out wide and get forward and then get a cross off, which obviously has worked for Ophelia right here.
Long pass, and they'll play that one back to Leal rather than risk giving Sosa, who was giving chase, a chance to make something happen. 16th minute.
The other one to be keep an eye out for right now, from what I've seen on the ball, is on Delta, number 5, Jalen Meza has done some different things that we've seen today so far than normal, of just trying to poke it and run past players. She's trying to take players on and be a little bit creative, throw some moves out there, try to nutmeg someone. So it'll be interesting to see when she gets on the ball again.
Well, they did have one very good counter early on here in this first half, but Neighbors with an alert save, able to thwart that attack. Otherwise, it's been largely Santiago Canyon in control here, and in a little bit of contrast to our first game, not a lot of patience from the outside, but a lot of hard drives and taking it right at the defense. So a little difference in tactics so far.
Yeah, Santiago seems to be more of attacking-minded, counter-pressing. As soon as they lose the ball, they're looking to put numbers under to win that ball right where they lost it. And like I said, just keep pushing numbers forward, which, as you can, leaves them vulnerable for a counterattack.
Foul called, and we have a Mustang player down. So I'll take a look at a Mustang player and try to get a number for you. And men's championship is set. Golden West, a 2-0 win over Fresno City College this morning. And they will take on Cerritos. The Falcons hold on for a 3-2 win against City College of San Francisco. So we'll have an all-South final on the men's side with Cerritos and Golden West, and that's an enticing matchup. And meanwhile, on the women's side, you saw the score earlier, Lake Tahoe, the 2-0 win to advance, getting past San Bernardino Valley College, and they await the winner here. Of course, we'll have both games for you.
Men's game will be interesting, all-South final, 2 different style of plays. One likes to knock the ball around and looks like they start to play, and the other one kind of plays a little bit more direct and likes to go at you constantly. So that'll be a good matchup to see who wins between Golden West and
absolutely. And that game was most fascinating in that when City College of San Francisco appeared to step up the physical play, that's when they started having success. When they started to play a style that seemed to mirror what Golden West does on a regular basis, that's when the Rams were having success. So it makes you sort of look forward and wonder what we might see Sunday morning. It's hard to imagine that Golden West won't feel like their style of play can be effective. They just saw it do exactly that in the second half of that game. So an intriguing matchup, but you can be sure as a shot on goal. Leal had the handle for a moment. The rebound, the ball's loose in front and just sent wide. It looked like Leal had that for a moment. Take it back and let you look at a replay here.
It was a good ball in by Sosa, able to get a little cut, get a good touch across, and then whip one in right across the 6.
See, Leal just lost it after she appeared to have it. But either way, disaster averted. And I wanted to wait and sort of make the point, but I think it's safe to say now that Sosa, very good feet. Not only a good little move there, but you go back to the assist, which came on a good pass off the left foot, and there she steps back and gets a good drive on the right foot, and obviously very accurate and powerful off both feet. Not that that would be entirely unexpected, but another big part of her success, no doubt.
Yeah, I mean, that's very rare, though, to have a center forward that can drift out wide and whip a ball in with both feet, let alone with one.
Long pass, And a race for the ball. In from the right, Leal with a sliding save. And I believe that was Bethencourt that went down hard, but she's up and okay.
I think Delta's stepping up a bit too high on their line on that one. Caught sleeping, and the ball just got played directly over.
Sosa trying to control, but lost it. Now a potential counter back the other way, but it'll be played back to Neighbors, and a whistle comes in.
And this is what we talked about, the counter-attacking style of Delta and their athleticism getting forward that they have to knock. They have to step in front of those attackers to slow them down so that they can't get in behind.
Free kick will come for Delta in white. Chip to the front of the goal, but a big bounce for Neighbors.
As it looks right now, both teams look like they're playing in a 4-3-3. Looks like Santiago Canyon's probably sitting with a defensive mid a little bit deeper.
Skip pass ahead. Gonzalez in from the left, tries to center, but the only one there is Leal. Canyon trying to set up the attack. Ortega in the corner. And the scrum sends that one out over the end line.
Free kick.
So go back to Delta.
I think Delta needs to start to get a little bit more wider and try to isolate the defenders in 1v1 situations so that they can go at them. Right now they're a bit too narrow.
Ortega off to Sosa. Skies this one into the box, but it's sent back out. And you can hear the Delta faithful trying to get into it. Trying to keep up the energy. And a pass offline and sent back. Canyon still in control. McDevitt. Check that. That was Casey Montoya. Sent it in, but Leal there. And it seems so far that Delta has had some success attacking more with short passes up the middle on the dribble. The long passes haven't really seemed to produce much against this Santiago Canyon defense.
No, I don't think they need to. I feel that they need to start to find a rhythm and connect the ball a little bit more. And then, like I said before, they've got to stretch the outside backs out. They've got to start to get wide so that they can get isolated into 1v1 situations.
Another whistle, and this will stay with Delta. Vina Klein fouled, and free kick coming. Neighbors will hold. Sky high and held in by Delta. Her had it momentarily but lost the handle. Munguia giving chase. And Santiago Canyon. Long pass broken up. Ball still loose. Won by the Mustangs. They move in on the counter, fanned outside. Looking for a center, high into the box. Headed back out, not all the way out. One-timer on goal, but Neighbors slides over for the save.
That was a little bit better from Delta. As I said, they knocked it a little bit. They tried to find wide, opened up, got in a 1v1 situation and crossed the ball out, and then
Yeah, it was Kylie Zentner that ended up taking that one on the bounce from just outside the box, and it was placed well, but enough time for Neighbors to move to her left for the save. Meanwhile, no more stoppage time as we move into the 28th minute. Well, it doesn't seem chippy, but it does seem physical. We've seen a couple of players go down, and this looks like a Santiago Canyon player. So, again, we'll try to keep an eye and see if we can get a number.
yeah, as we said before, it's a completely different game than the one before this, and San Bernardino and Tahoe. As to where it was almost like a stalemate for 70 minutes.
Well, watching these two teams play, really both teams, we've talked a lot about Santiago Canyon, but seeing some of the counters from Delta, it's hard to imagine that Lake Tahoe is going to employ a much different strategy on Sunday. Watching these two offenses and these quick transitions, I expect to see a little bit more of the same from them in that matchup. Of course, that's Sunday at 2 o'clock.
Yeah, it seems like these two teams aren't afraid to get numbers forward and take that risk, unlike the last game where they kind of just sat back and tried not to make a mistake. So two very, very attacking-minded teams. Two very different styles of play. One's very direct, and the other one likes to knock it around and try to get numbers in from behind, get their outside backs involved as well.
Getting set to go, and Neighbors will have the kick. Over her.
It seems,
and now it's her who goes down hard on a collision. Let's see if we can maybe catch the tail end of this on the kick.
It seems, though, that the attacking style has dropped a little bit since Ophelia has come off for Santiago, that it started to go the other way now for Delta a little bit more.
Still looking at Jay Herr, and Herr, of course, so very important for San Joaquin Delta. 13 goals on the season, that leads the team. It's Jay Herr and Jalen Mesa that really lead this Mustang offense.
She seems to be a playmaker as well, though, looking at it. 13 goals, like you said, and then 14 assists to put that into perspective as well. She can score goals and she can create chances for other people, so very dangerous player.
And she is up on her knees. And we'll have a substitution for San Joaquin Delta. Jay Herr will check out. Free kick. Into the box, redirected. Still alive. And that one rolls through. And Neighbors able to scoop it up. It's one of those dangerous little balls just kind of rolling loose in the box there if it finds its way to the right spot.
Yep, it's like we said before as well. All you need is a little bit of luck.
Yeah.
Good little bounce, and it falls to someone's feet, and it's in the back of the net, and you're off celebrating.
Battle for the ball, and Canyon still has it. Sent in, but sent back out. And these teams are really battling out there for the loose balls, and now you're starting to get a sense of the physical play has picked up, and here's another whistle. That's going to go against Delta. Lynette Soto with the foul.
Santiago right now is doing a good job. If you look all the way out wide by the 40, they're stretching out the back line's defense, the back line again, trying to create channels for their center forward to make runs into.
McDevitt sends this one in. Won by Santiago Canyon. Delta trying to amass an attack. And they've got it at the pass-off line. Cleared out. I think you have to be impressed right now with the way that Delta, hit in the mouth essentially right away there with a quick goal, but they've come out here and regained, I think, a measure of poise while maintaining the aggressiveness, and they've fought their way back into this game. They still need to find a way to tally here, but I think, again, you have to be impressed with the way that they've held themselves together and continued to push.
Yeah, I mean, I think they've done a really good job of pressing and trying to get those balls in behind, like I said before, and isolate those wide players like they've been doing so far. And it's been working for them. It's a matter of time, I feel, till they convert.
They've got it here. The pressure from Santiago Canyon and the ball work free. And we'll have a throw in for Canyon. They want to work quickly. That one off of Sosa. And it will belong to San Joaquin Delta. Moving toward the 34th minute here in the first half. Santiago Canyon leading it 1-0.
This does not look good. Ophelia Sosa's down on the field. That could be a huge loss for Santiago.
Well, we've already seen Jay Herr, leading scorer, out for San Joaquin Delta. And now potentially Sosa back at about the 30-yard line. Santiago Canyon territory. Well, we're seeing players, go down here, and obviously a lot of very physical play. But to my memory, I don't recall a yellow card or.
I believe there was one yellow card to Santiago.
Yes, Santiago did have one. Good memory. Well, that's a coach for you. Stats not in front of you, but you know it. But anyway, it's not the kind of sort of chippy play that sometimes brings a lot of yellow cards where they have to install discipline in the game, at least from a referee standpoint. But nonetheless, obviously, it's very physical out there. I've seen a few players have to leave the field.
Yeah, that's unfortunate, but I mean, it's a game. It's all or nothing right now.
Yep.
It's worth something. So they put their life on the line for this pretty much.
And it's Sosa clearly favoring the right foot as she gets to her feet, and they will have to help her off the field. And I think as you pointed out when that happened, obviously that is of grave concern for any number of reasons, but obviously it's an incredibly important player for Santiago Canyon in terms of what they like to do.
Yes, it is. I mean, the next one that would have to be in line, I would say, would be Angelica Ortega. 18 goals,
Yep.
16 assists, just as dangerous, but it looks like she plays in the midfield, kind of plays as an attacking mid-role. So it'll be interesting to see how Santiago deals with this now.
Yeah, what Sosa is able to do from that sort of middle forward type of position brings one would suspect a unique sort of dynamic to this offense. And they continue to get after it, and Delta maintains possession as Alvarez plays it outside, now back on the attack. Just outside the box. That one blocked at the point. Santiago Canyon wants a quick counter. And one pooched forward. And again, Santiago Canyon able to win a 50-50 ball. That's been the big story here in the first half, but broken up nicely. And Delta looking to go back on the attack themselves. The steal by Suki Sukfum, but the pass broken up. Here come the Mustangs. Quick give and go. Knocked free and played out to midfield. It's a terrific job by Montoya to keep that ball alive, and now she gets it back. She'll let it go, where it'll be a throw-in.
Delta is doing a very good job of disrupting Santiago's play. And I think how they want to play, forcing them to play a little bit longer than they normally do. And sort of catering to the way that they play right now, to the very direct counter-attacking style. Like I said, just frustrating Santiago, it seems like.
Played ahead for Montoya. Trying to keep this one alive. Delta plays it out, but not all the way. Big collision in front and a centering pass broken up. Trying to get it out. Jay Herr has returned. That's a welcome sight for Mustang fans. Quick pass ahead, looking for Herr. Herr across, but can't get it all the way across. Delta really continues to battle. Chipped in, but behind Herr. Soto trying to enter it in. But again, Delta able to win the ball and keep it alive. What a job by Jalen Meza, battling 3 blue jerseys. A little bit of contact as that ball heads out of bounds, no whistle. It's like Angelica Ortega really taking over in the middle. That ball's loose in the box, and finally it's Leal who has to come out and just poke it outside. And we'll have a throw-in. And that was a seemingly innocuous ball that almost ended up being big trouble.
Yes, very scary moment. Looks like Jay Herr shifted back out wide to the right.
Well, her kind of puts you a little bit in mind, especially I think the way they like to use her, of what we saw out of Karen Jacobs from our game just before this one. Somewhat similar in stature as well, and I think a player that is really a focal point of the offense, and you like to move her around and see if there's different ways that you can get the ball on her foot.
Yeah, very dangerous. I think both of their outside wingers are very dangerous. Jay Herr, and then as the other one is
Jalen Meza, is that right?
Jalen Meza. Jalen Meza is probably a little bit more skillful, a little bit more craftier, creative, as we saw earlier on.
This is Meza.
Right now as well, yes. Nice little step over and then tries to switch the ball.
Tried to get that one across to her, but it was broken up. Loose ball. Nice job by Montoya coming back to regain control for Santiago Canyon. Martinez starting a drive for Delta, and a free kick coming for Martinez. Moved into, or rather toward extra time, and we'll leave our clock going. Give you a sense of how long it's been, but this should be a few minutes or more of extra time coming.
My guess is about 3 to 4, maybe even 5 extra
Bethencourt,
minutes added on.
Who has the goal in from the right, but that is stolen and sent back to midfield.
This is where it's dangerous on the counterattack, but it just goes wide.
Yeah, again, they wanted her, but a couple of blue jerseys back for Santiago Canyon. This is Ortega. Martinez moving up to send that one back in. You have the sense on that back line that Delta not wanting to wait. I think the more time they wait, the more opportunity you give the forwards to make a play for Santiago Canyon, but they're moving up very quickly to contest these longer passes.
Yeah, I think they're just trying to close everything down and make the field as small as possible so that it does force Santiago to play a way that they're probably not used to playing.
That one sent in, but won nicely by Santiago Canyon. Montoya gets this one ahead. Ortega on the wing. Hansel couldn't quite find a lane. Yeah.
Seems to be getting more physical and physical as it goes on, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's kind of a scary thought. It's already been pretty physical. Herr sends that one in. Toward the end line and over, and this should be a kick coming for Neighbors in goal.
Seems that Santiago Canyon, though, is very confident in their attack, leaving 4 up top while the Delta is trying to get forward, leaving their left winger, their center forward, their right winger, and they're attacking mid up, not to defend. So maybe a bit too confident at times.
Well, no Ophelia Sosa on the field for Santiago Canyon, and it remains to be seen what impact that might have moving forward. This one's still loose, pooched into the box, and then sent back out. Mesa on the bounce, and it's on net, but Neighbors right there. Montoya looking for a lane. Still on the drive, lets one go, and it's blocked. Still loose. They'll send it across.
Mesa, again, being very tricky.
Leal will put this one back in for San Joaquin Delta. The lone goal came at 3:40 from Luli Bethencourt. You can see the time continue to move. That's our clock, obviously, not the stadium clock. So we'll let ours go so we can have a sense of how long this ultimately went.
That is very helpful.
You know, listen, we don't have to. We don't have to go by the scoreboard clock here. That'll stop at 43, but we can let you know exactly how long it's been. Throw in on the far side. Out of play, and it'll go back to Jessica Neighbors. And that's going to do it. First half in the books. Santiago Canyon leading it 1-0. It's the women's semifinals, the 3C2A men's and women's soccer championship here on SoCalCollegeSports.com. underway in the second half. One to nothing. Santiago Canyon on an early goal from Luli Bethencourt. But I think, Nick, a very entertaining and well-played first half. Very physical, but I think you have to like the way that Delta responded in that first half. But I think it's only proving what we talked about at the top, which is that Santiago Canyon, for all the offensive firepower, a very solid team defensively.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of gone back and forth for the most part in that first half. I mean, Santiago did get a goal, but I think Delta did a good job of kind of getting back onto their feet and playing their game. It'll be an exciting second half if it continues the way that it is. I think the main thing for Santiago is to be able to nullify the speed of Delta and their physicality and being able to match that. Like you said, with the loss of Ophelia Sosa so far that we know of, being able to kind of grab reins of the game and keep possession of the ball.
Loose ball. Delta had it momentarily, but then it's poked back free one time back into the box, but too strong, and Neighbors over to corral it. Quick throw the other way, and we saw this in the men's game earlier today. Cerritos had a goal in a very similar kind of situation to save, and a quick throw out by Aldama, their keeper, started a quick counter that led to a goal in the first half in the victory over City College of San Francisco. And I think Neighbors, kind of a similar idea there, wanted to get a quick counter going, but the Mustangs able to quell that quickly.
Delta looks like they've come into this second half pumped and ready to go and ready to fight. Just looking at their coach running up and down the sideline as the ball went out, trying to get the bench going as well.
Well, the crowd, to their credit, has stayed into it. The players themselves, I think, continue to be pumped up, and they are here fighting very hard, and I think that's what you would expect. But again, on a quick goal like that, sometimes you can get a little demoralized, and I think it's to the credit of everyone involved. Meanwhile, Santiago Canyon trying to start a counter. They get one going, this one from outside the box on goal, but an easy save for Leal.
Would have liked to seen her maybe take some space and take a player on or two before she tried to shoot from that distance.
Yeah, Bethencourt from a good about 25 yards out. And Leal, no problem with that save. Bethencourt working against Morgan Hall, sophomore defender, and that's been an ongoing battle here in this one. Mesa playing it ahead. McDevitt sends this one back up, not out. Still playable. A battle for the ball, still battling. And the whistle gives it to Santiago Canyon. Pass blocked, deflected to Meza. Delta wants to attack, but sent back out. Meza keeps it alive for a moment. Bethencourt trying to split a couple of defenders, and it's sent out, but it will stay with Santiago Canyon. In the 51st minute, just underway in the second half, Santiago Canyon continues to protect the 1-0 lead.
I wouldn't be surprised for both teams if Santiago, as the game progresses and if it stays the same, Santiago dropping in an extra defender, kind of bunkering down, and on the other side, Delta throwing numbers up, maybe getting rid of a defender and throwing another forward up to try to press and maybe squeak a goal in.
Torrey Phillips picks up the foul. And yeah, sometimes you wonder when a team takes a lead if maybe there's a conscious decision to alter how they play. And I feel like in this one that Santiago Canyon, to a certain degree, has been taken out of what they want to do. I don't think they've voluntarily kind of changed up their approach, but I think that the Mustangs at times have had them a little bit on their heels, but to their credit, they maintain this lead into the second half.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to defend against, like I said, the pace that Delta has and the style and the physicality that they have. Those are two hard things to prepare for, is speed and physicality. So,
and of course the somewhat unexpected or the unpredictable, and that of course Ophelia Sosa not being available after leaving the game in the first half.
Yeah, that's
with an injury.
That was a massive loss, I think, for Santiago.
Chipped into the box. It's still loose. Meza, a one-timer, but over the crossbar. Quick chance, but nothing doing. Hansel on the drive, but no one there to help, and Leal ends up with the easy save.
Delta has done a great job so far pressing Santiago Canyon's back line, and I mean, from probably the midfield forward, just forcing them to play balls that they probably wouldn't normally play into spaces that they wouldn't normally play. And so far, it's been a turnover. They've lost possession every time.
The throw in from Munguia, sent back out, and this time it's off of Delta. So this will give it back to Santiago Canyon in the 55th minute now.
Looks like Ophelia is back on now that she's been, I think, seen the trainers and been okayed to play. So this sort of
taped up back on that right knee. And what a great sight that is for Santiago Canyon fans.
Yeah, she seems to
see back out there. And of course, you always have to worry with a leg injury that the player will be unavailable, obviously, and obviously that's a great sight to see that she's back out there. But as we often say in our coverage of so many sports here on SoCalCollegeSports.com, that's nice to be 18 or 19 years old.
Yeah.
Always able to bounce back nicely.
Yeah.
And Ophelia's back out there.
Yeah, she seems to be favoring it a bit, though, when she starts to stride out. So.
Well, and if you look ahead, potentially if Santiago Canyon is able to hold on here, obviously she's a little bit warmed up tonight, and that helps, I think, get back out there. But then Sunday it'll be time for that, too. Yes, rest, I suppose, is on the good side, but also on the bad side it can tighten up a little bit and the cool down, and it might be difficult to get back out there. But obviously that's getting a little bit ahead of the game at this point. But something to keep track of potentially as you look ahead to Sunday.
Definitely, yeah.
But if you're Santiago Canyon, you've got some work to do here in the 56th minute. And still leading this one just 1-0 against a very game squad from San Joaquin Delta. Delta wants to counter, but 4 and 5 back. And that one's sent out, and that'll allow Santiago Canyon to get things set. 22-0 on the season for Santiago Canyon. What a tremendous year it has been. Meza again in the middle of it. Battling there with Torrey Phillips. And it's Meza who will get the free kick. Meza looking for the far post. Sent across. Meza giving chase, but runs out of room, and this one going back to Santiago Canyon. Sauma with the throw in, looking for Sosa, who gets it back out. Bethencourt with a move. Morgan Hall able to win it back for San Joaquin Delta. Hurd tries to leave it on the far side, but the pass intercepted. Canyon wants to counter. Munguia battling on the far side and ultimately wins the throw-in.
Bit of game management going on.
And we're into the 59th minute. Loose ball, and there's a whistle. Ortega is fouled, and she'll get a free kick, and this from a dangerous spot. About 35 yards out, but straight away. Going after the goal on that one, but wide right. That was McDevitt.
Sosa's off again.
She gave it a go. And you have to suspect that that's a situation where there's concern about whether or not she can really fully go, because this is just a 1-0 game. So this is not a situation where you're thinking, well, we can look ahead to Sunday potentially and just not risk any further injury. In a one-goal game, you'd want Sosa out there if you possibly could have it. You'd have to believe. McDevitt tries to switch the attack to the far side.
That wasn't my job anyway.
We get a look at Sosa on the sideline and putting the sweatshirt back on, and I don't know necessarily if that means that she's not going to come back, but out of the game right now in the 62nd minute.
Intensity of the game, though, seemed to have dropped a little bit. Not as, I would say, as intense, fast, and physical as it was.
Yeah, not quite as physical here in this second half. And sense that maybe that favors Santiago Canyon slightly.
I would say so. I think that they could start to find a rhythm again and start to play the way that they normally play.
Soma brings it in. Chipped in by Phillips. Ortega a little late getting there, and Leal emerges for Delta. One-timer sent back to the Santiago Canyon side. Hawks want to counter, I should say. In from the right. A centering pass redirected just wide. Hansel put that right on the foot. I believe that was Ortega. Delta continues to search for the equalizer here in the 64th minute. Sent out, but not all the way now. It's cleared. Big collision on the far side. Hansel. Well, hard to believe there was a big collision, and it wasn't Jalen Mesa in the middle of it. The way she's been getting after it out there, but that time it was Hansel and Alyssa Martinez, and they're both up. And the ball will belong to San Joaquin Delta. Ball still loose. Delta for a moment. Can't find the handle on that one. Out of bounds and a corner kick coming. And it looks like Her is going to be the one to send this in.
This could be dangerous with some of the size that Delta has. And their athleticism again. Could be a dangerous situation for Santiago.
So Her is ready. That one cleared out. Delta keeps it. Her sends it right back in, near post, and it's Neighbors able to come out with it for Santiago Canyon. Well, a couple of opportunities in the box for Delta, but no shots on goal. 66th minute. Free kick into the box. The redirect sent out over the end line, and it'll go back to San Joaquin Delta. Leal looking to the right side again. Was sent ahead by Daisy Contreras. Ortega plays it ahead, but the pass off the mark. And now Ortega just sends it out of play.
Ortega's done a good job of controlling that midfield, winning balls and just disrupting the play overall. So far, I think she's done a very good job with that.
Yeah, that size and athleticism in the midfield seems to really do a good job of stifling potential counters for San Joaquin Delta. The long passes just have not been able to produce clean attack opportunities.
Yeah, it's almost a bit hopeful with their passes that they're just trying to lump it in behind and hope that someone is fast enough to get onto it. Nothing's really precise. And again, going back to like in the first half, if they look to try to play the ball a little bit wider, find her out wide, and I mean, she can do stuff on the ball and get stuff done. I think looking route one isn't the way to go for them.
This will be a free kick for Martinez. Tries the right side of the box and sent back out. And Delta will have to go back and regroup. Near steal, but out of play. Tara Hansel came tearing in there and almost picked that one clean, but sends it out, and it'll stay with San Joaquin Delta. Throw in was intercepted momentarily. Loose ball. Sent back the other way, and it's a foot race. Sent back Neighbors well outside to the edge of the box and able to snatch it away. Nyla Staples closing hard for San Joaquin Delta. Dangerous play for Neighbors, ranging out, but she wins the race. A swing and a miss there from Larson, but that ball makes it all the way out of bounds, where it'll go to Neighbors, and a goal kick coming here in the 70th minute. Well, we started out like a house of fire. Teams really going back and forth, and an early goal, but it's settled in now.
Yeah, I think tired legs are starting to kick in now, and we'll see how the play styles change a little bit from this. I think Delta going direct may tire them out a bit too much.
Well, lest anyone should be surprised that San Joaquin Delta doesn't have a goal on the board. As we look in the 70th minute here, it is now a streak of 802 minutes in which Santiago Canyon has not given up a goal.
Yeah, that's a hard thing to be playing against a team that's done that, and that's solid defensively. And it's not just their back line; it starts up top as well. It starts up with the two forwards that have come in and have kind of done a good job of pressing the back line as well from Santiago.
Centering pass, but Phillips clears it away. Hall trying to send it in. Throw incoming. Sent back out. Staples leaves the pass. A counter coming on the give and go. Staples with the goal! Was it an offside call?
Looks like it was offsides. I don't know who was offsides. I do not think.
Well, let's see. We can back this one up here a little bit. See if we can tell from this angle, and then we'll try from the other side too.
Maybe.
Wow, that was close.
Very close call.
And we're just going to catch the tail end from that angle, and wow. You know, the streak was almost over.
All I can say is I'm glad that I'm not making that call.
Man, 74th minute. Beautifully executed give and go, and Staples found the back of the net, but the offside call erases the goal, and we stay at 1-0. And we'll take you back to live action.
That might spark something in San Joaquin, that offsides call.
Well, it's interesting because I think there's a sense in which you can glean a lot of confidence from something like that, but here in the 75th minute against a very tough opponent and you have a goal taken off the board, you have to think maybe that's a little demoralizing too.
Yeah, it could go either way.
Hard drive on the far side and a centering pass behind the net. Earlier today, the men's semifinal. Golden West knocks out Fresno City. No repeat champion in the men's bracket.
Looks as if Santiago's kind of tweaked things a little bit. They're playing a little bit more compact defensively than they were. And attacking-wise now, they've started to come inwards rather than make runs outwards.
Bethencourt wins the ball. And again, some trouble for Larson. And Staples able to get free, but the ball back to Neighbors and cleared out. And Larson matched up with Staples, and she's having a tough time. Nyla Staples bringing, I think, a little bit of what we were talking about with Ophelia Sosa, just a very strong athletic presence. And she's been a difference maker here in this second half, creating some opportunities, including one, a goal that was taken away on an offside call.
Yeah, she has caused a lot of chaos, for that back line, especially for those two.
This one slips through into the box and just sent away. I think the offside call there as well. So it wouldn't have counted anyway. But a terrific pass to the far post. Almost created a big-time opportunity for Santiago Canyon.
I think there's about 4 minutes left to where they have to make a decision on whether they're going to go. They need to push for it. So I wouldn't be surprised if there are some changes from both teams in about 4 minutes, tactically speaking, to where they throw numbers up for San Joaquin and Santiago throws numbers back and tries to maintain their lead.
Free kick to the top of the box, and it's loose. The one-timer blocked by Leal, still loose. Another shot blocked. Well, it looked like Hansel had initially a great opportunity, but couldn't quite get a solid strike.
Yeah, it fell to Ortega as well, who didn't look like she got a clean strike.
Looking for Staples on the counter, but that is nicely broken up by McDevitt. Staples still working. Mesa now keeps it in. Mustangs on the counter. Errant pass sent out. This is Hansel. Hansel with no numbers. On the drive. Nice slide tackle in that one. Poked free. Back to San Joaquin Delta. We're into the 79th minute. McDevitt with Staples on her tail, and she'll send that out.
Delta's throwing numbers up, it looks like now.
Again, a result from earlier today. Cerritos holds on over City College of San Francisco.
I think this will definitely play a part into extra time at least. A couple injuries, a couple subs.
Yeah, and you wonder if this is possibly looking at the way they're looking at it, maybe this is just a cramp type of situation.
Yeah,
to stretch something out.
Could be a bit of gamesmanship as well, trying to slow things down.
Back to it.
There is some gamesmanship going on right now.
Now, what are you seeing here?
Time wasting, as in gamesmanship, fixing your hair, fixing your shin guards, those types of things, slowing the game down.
And this is, meanwhile, the clock is running in those types of situations.
Yes, trying to delay the game a little bit longer so that every second's precious right now.
A pass to the outside, broken up and sent out. It'll stay with Santiago Canyon. The Hawks will have a throw-in. Again sent out. '81st minute.
This is where the changes will start tactically, I believe. I think if San Joaquin wants to be in this still, they need to throw another number forward.
Well, it's Staples and her. And you think about getting a third player forward at this point?
Third, maybe even a fourth, being completely honest.
Well, obviously, there is no tomorrow here in this season unless you come up with a goal. And I think at what point does it matter if we lose 1-0 or 2-0?
Yeah, it's do or die right now. So I wouldn't be surprised if that does happen. And then you got the other aspect of it. Whereas Santiago, I wouldn't be surprised if they sacrificed a forward and put 5 in the back maybe rather than 4.
You have to anticipate. McDevitt chips this one in, sent back outside by Morgan Hall to Mesa. McDevitt up quickly, able to poke that one away from Mesa. But Delta maintains. And Mesa tries to thread a pass and instead sends it out of bounds, and we'll have another throw in coming. Mustang sideline. All too aware of the situation here in the 83rd minute. Long pass up ahead. Ortega in the box. Shot on goal and a great save by Leal.
Ball switched across from Mesa. Hurd tries to flick it through for the overlap and it just goes wide.
Well, the save by Leal, momentarily a game saver.
Yes, that could have been a big game changer. Rather than going down, being 1-0, going 2-0.
I think in the 84th minute here, if that one gets in, it may be a game ender.
Yeah.
But instead, the Mustangs still living. But they need to come up with something here. In the 84th minute, they need to break a formidable streak of scorelessness. The defense for Santiago Canyon, meanwhile, on the counter. And a foul called, and is this going to be in the box?
Delta did make the adjustment, though, if you're looking at it. It did go to 3 in the back, and they couldn't handle the speed. The wide player coming in.
So the penalty in the box will give a penalty kick to Santiago Canyon and a chance to go a long way toward icing this one in the 85th minute. McDevitt will take the kick. Here it is. And she converts. That may be a trip to Sunday.
I think that might.
Beautifully executed.
Now it's a matter of Santiago Canyon just sitting back, not making any mistakes.
Leal has to ultimately lean one way, and McDevitt slides it in the near post, and 2-0 now Santiago Canyon. And just that close here in the 86th minute. Looking ahead to a possible matchup with Lake Tahoe. That'll be Sunday at 2 o'clock. Well, as you talked about and as we talked about, if you're the Mustangs, you have to take some chances trailing 1-0. It led to a quick counter and a penalty in the box and the penalty kick.
Yeah, those are hard decisions to make, especially as a coach and trying to get a win out of something. Those are very big decisions that you have to make, and ultimately it goes one way or the other. So
yeah, well, again, it's this is either you move on or your season's over, and at a certain level, no style points here. It's either it's a win or it's a loss. And I think if you're San Joaquin Delta, this is no doubt, of course, a disappointing result. But I think, again, you have to be impressed when you look at the totality of the 90 minutes of the way that they fought here. And, hey, this is a team in Santiago Canyon that's moving to 23-0. I mean, they haven't even been tied this season. So it's been an incredibly dominating season, and they're one win away from finishing it off on Sunday. Only Lake Tahoe stands in their way. The shot on goal, but Leal with the save.
And I believe there's only a couple games for Santiago that they've only won by 1-0, right?
Yeah, that was
and
it.
This is 2.
First 20 games, 2 goals or more was the difference. In every game, only 1-0 in the last 2 games the first time that anybody got within a goal. And, the numbers are just staggering this season for Santiago Canyon. And we look ahead to Sunday, and will Lake Tahoe have some answers? Free kick sent back out. We're moving toward extra time here in the 88th minute. Well, it's from a coaching standpoint here, we talk about will Lake Tahoe have some answers, and you look at Santiago Canyon, and if you're on the opposite sideline, if you're coaching against them, what do you think? What are you trying to do?
I mean, being in similar situations to this, you've got to try to get your team together to start fighting still that it's not over. I mean, maybe even adjusting even more and going 2 in the back, or even maybe 1 in the back, and playing with more in the midfield to kind of
I meant
slow
more
things down.
Yeah, I was referring more obviously for San Joaquin Delta, but just generally, if you're battling, let's say on Sunday, how do you look to maybe attack a team like Santiago Canyon that seems to bring a lot to the table here, both offensively and defensively? I don't see a lot of chinks in the armor.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that to where you got to hope that your team is on. And, I mean, personally, I would just stick to the game plan that's gotten me here to that final, that there's nothing that I feel that you would need to change to cater to another team. You should play the way that you play, and then from there make changes if you need to.
Spoken like a true coach right there. Mesa directing traffic. Wants Staples, but the pass behind her. And sent all the way back out, and we are now into extra time.
This should be an interesting final.
Yeah, well, we talked about on the men's side, it's an intriguing matchup of styles. And, we thought one thing when we looked at Lake Tahoe, and you look at the numbers and you see what they did, but they played a pretty measured game, and you wonder if it's not a similar matchup of styles in the women's championship. Lake Tahoe was very patient today in their victory.
Yeah, it's going to be both teams, from what I've seen, have been very possessionally based and like to get numbers forward. So 2 similar styles, like you said, going at it. Like I said, it's probably going to be who's on. And looking at the stats for both of them, I believe both of them have the same goals against average overall, and they're both, I think, 2nd overall.
Yeah, 2 teams who have not been defeated this season.
Yeah.
Meeting in the final, so in the boxing parlance, somebody's O has to go.
Yeah.
on Sunday at 2 o'clock. But, yeah, it's so easy when we're talking about Santiago Canyon and heaping the accolades with good reason. But, hey, Lake Tahoe, undefeated this season. So nobody's had much of an answer against them.
Yeah, undefeated and top of the boards for goals as well. So
yeah, pretty good combination.
Yeah.
Mesa. Hall moving up, looking for a lane to center. Down she goes and a foul called. Free kick coming for San Joaquin Delta.
Delta's throwing all their numbers up. Everyone but the keeper right now. So this is the talk that we had before about you got to go big or.
Amounts to a set piece here.
And
Mesa able to slide it inside the post. Well, one streak comes to an end. Boy, you can't do it a whole lot better than that.
No, you can't. Well placed in the corner.
And just catch the tail end of the celebration there. And
yep, we're in extra time now, so. Now it's a matter of time wasting again for Santiago to see if they can kind of slow things down as they kick the ball wide out.
Been somewhat of a theme of the day. We're talking about Cerritos and busy talking about how dominant they had been and what a spectacular performance they had put on. And meanwhile, City College of San Francisco tallies a couple of times and tightens it up right near the end. And here the Mustangs, when all appears lost, find the back of the net and cut the deficit to 2-1. But they're going to need another miracle here.
Yeah, they are, but I mean, it's not over until they blow the final whistle. Anything can happen.
Yeah, well, now we're down to 1 goal. Meanwhile, Santiago Canyon with Hansel, and she sends that one wide. Leal in a hurry. This one kept in by Santiago Canyon, and I believe it was you that said in our previous game, well, if you have the ball, they can't score. And first, the Mustangs need to get the ball back, and they do to Mesa. Mesa sends this one ahead, but only Canyon back. Still loose. Not able to clear it out. Staples tried to hook one on goal, but it was blocked at the point. And that will do it. Santiago Canyon survives a late scare, but they advance to the final, a 2-1 final. And the women's final is set. The championship game will be Lake Tahoe taking on Santiago Canyon. And Nick Garcia, thank you so much for joining us. It was a great pleasure to have you. Really enjoyed it, and hope you had some fun too.
Yeah, thank you. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, a couple of we got some drama, got some excitement here down the stretch, and Santiago Canyon and Lake Tahoe. We will look forward to that on Sunday. We'll come back very quickly, wrap things up here on SoCalCollegeSports.com. Final score 2-1. And Santiago Canyon advances to the championship game, outlasting San Joaquin Delta, where they will meet Lake Tahoe. That'll be Sunday at 2 o'clock. And, of course, the men's final at 10 o'clock on Sunday. That will feature Cerritos College taking on Golden West in an all-South final. Just want to pass along a few quick thank yous to wrap things up tonight. Want to thank Dustin Brakebill from San Joaquin Delta for his help, along with Mike Hayden, who's managing things here at Ventura College. Nico Della Valle on stats, helping us out as well. Mike Nahar, Samantha Rellis, Karen Martinez on camera. Nick Garcia, Dave LaTourette joining us in color commentary, and very special thanks to them for taking their time as well to sit in with us on the broadcast. Mike Robles at the 3C2A, George Matagakis, and Carlisle Carter. Of course, without Carlisle, George, Mike, this would not be possible at all. So our thanks to them for making this broadcast possible. Mike Cepeda, of course, helping to put this together and produce this broadcast. And Ryan Wilmore. Thanks so much for Ryan coming out and helping us out as well, producing and doing camera work for us as well. So again, we look forward to having you join us on Sunday for the men's and the women's final here in the 3C2A Soccer Championships. That'll get started at 10 o'clock, and we hope you will join us then. For everybody here at SoCalCommentSports.com, so long, everybody.